Welcome to God Chosen Cosmic Melodies. Welcome back if you are reoccurring subscriber, and if you are new here, welcome. We're just going to jump right in to what I feel called to talk about, which is the holiday. So we're going to start off by me asking the Google voice, what does this day represent? What does today represent? So today, June 19th, is significant as it is Juneteenth, a federal holiday in the United States commemorating the emancipation of enslaved African Americans. Additionally, it is also World Sickle Cell Awareness Day. Okay, the other ones are like just silly holidays. So this day right now, not yesterday and not tomorrow, we are in the day where African Americans were freed years ago. I didn't even know that this was today. And so it hit me really hard, like, oh my God, I can't believe I didn't realize the date. Sometimes, we get so caught up in life where we don't pay attention to holidays, especially man-made holidays, but this one is very significant. This is huge. Okay, this is actually inspiration for the fact that change eventually does come, no matter how long it takes. You know how long it took them to get the freedom that they deserved from way back, and they never gave up. And there was a lot of bad things and good things that happened, and this is one of those good things. They got the freedom that they've always deserved and they should have had from the beginning, because it is all of our birthright. And so it's like we need to use this as inspiration to never give up, to always keep going and always be optimistic as possible, and to believe in a better tomorrow. And the change that we make, in the past, present, and future, it's always in the now where we make the changes. We can change how we view the past. We can transform and grow from things in the past, never repeat those things that never worked out, and transform our ways of being moving forward. But it always happens in the now. And so it's just super empowering. I feel like, I know everybody's going to have their own take on this day. And, it's really sad that was even a reality for some people, that they were enslaved for all that time when that was completely illegal. And so they finally got justice, and it represents changing times. Like the things that they're trying to pull off in the government now, it's not always going to be that way. We just need to keep that in the forefront of our mind, especially with all these things happening. And they purposely want to fearmonger and warmonger to get people at a low and assume that it will always be this way, but it's not always going to be this way. And today is a great representation of that. African Americans are free today, but we do still experience modern day slavery, even though that kind of slavery doesn't exist the way it did back then, and the levels of racism, they don't exist the way it did back then, although it is still happening, for all races across the board. Different races experience racism and forms of enslavement. The government has many people in different forms of enslavement. And what I talk about most on this channel is spiritual enslavement. And so, because when they're controlling the energy grid of the earth and the landlines and the stargates, that's how they keep control on an energetic level to the whole planet, on a planetary level. But so that's something that we're still in the midst of breaking free from. And it will get to the point that this day represents, where we are finally freed. And we just need to foresee that ahead of time. And as these things unfold in the world, we need to focus our attention and our eyes on that justice that will come to life at some point. It will. It is without an ounce of a doubt. Just like the African Americans got freed eventually this spiritual war will be over too. And we will all receive justice, because we're not up against each other. We're up against the principalities. And so when we overcome the principalities, that's when we will all experience justice on a humanitarian level, like all of humanity. Even the ones who are perceived like the evil ones, they're enslaved too. They're enslaved by the dark principalities. They're working for the dark principalities of this realm. And so essentially all of humanity's souls are in different forms and different degrees of enslavement, because we did choose to come to this realm to create change in this realm. But this realm consists of being enslaved, and that's what we're working towards undoing. We're working towards freeing our souls while we're here in physical form to experience heaven on earth here. We don't have to die to go and experience heaven. It's meant for us to experience that frequency here in this realm, and it's up to us to manifest that, to free ourselves from inside. Each one of us, each individual, will send out codes into the field to assist many other people to free themselves from within. Each one of us has to do that inner work to free ourselves from spiritual bondage and spiritual enslavement, energetic enslavement. The sorcery that they do in small scales, medium scales, and big scales, because this is not just like small groups of witches or warlocks doing sorcery. It's like medium groups and huge organizations that have an agenda to use sorcery over humanity to keep these energetic cords and to be able to siphon off of people. When they siphon off our attention and our energies, that's how they continue the cycle of abuse, the cycle of energetic enslavement. And so it's important that we remember we are not against each other. So I just want to show this.
Beneath every war is a forgotten story. So beneath the bombs and the borders, there is a broken brotherhood. And
this is Samuel Bleem.
Abraham, originally known as Abram. He was not just Father Abraham. He was a covenant carrier.
Me and his content and me are like on similar wavelengths.
And his codes were meant to restore the 12-tribe unity and reopen planetary stargates. Abraham fathered 2 sons, Ishmael through Hagar the Egyptian, and Isaac through Sarah, his Hebrew wife. Ishmael would become the spiritual forefather of the Arab peoples, including what is ancient Persia, which is Iran. And he was banished, Ishmael, not by source, but by human jealousy from a jealous Sarah. Isaac remained, and from him came Jacob, who became Israel. So through Jacob, the 12 tribes of Israel were born. This is where the first fracture appears, the illusion of chosen versus rejected, of lineage versus love, divine inheritance split by fear. False evidence appearing real. Isaac's twin sons, Jacob and Esau, continued the cycle. You see, Jacob received the spiritual blessing. Esau was intermarried with the Canaanites and became the father of another branch, often associated with Edom and ancient Persia, Iran. Canaan, which was supposed to be the promised land, already was seeded with complex star genetics, which became the battlefield of cosmic agendas. The flame of conflict was lit, not between nations, but it was started between brothers fighting for memory, access, and love. Then came the hijacking. You see the off-planet Jehovian Anunnaki collectives, which are still operating now in the same place, rewrote the sacred text. They turned unity into doctrine, remembrance into division, and love into law. Both Israel and Iran carry sacred starseed rules, but through religious programming and historical...
So both sides are important to the evolution. So like he just said too, is the higher frequency of your mind, the better we are at commanding things in this realm, like justice or like peace, world peace. The more we raise our frequency, we have a part to play in all of this. So as the first video I showed, Samuel Bleem was explaining the history behind what's really behind this political war and in the physical realm. And basically it was people fighting for access and one feeling less favored than another, when in reality we're all equally favored. And we're meant to work together. We're not meant to be against each other and forget our core truth, which is unity and love. And so we may have many different opinions and we may, perceive life very differently, but the core truth still stands. We are souls in the human experience, and our soul comes from source, and source is unity and pure love. And that's who we truly are in our core. But in the humanness, we fall into a state of amnesia, and not everyone wakes up. And that's why they perpetuate these things that don't need to be cycled, or the pattern needs to be broken. It needs to be broken by each one of us waking up to the truth that the core of this battle between what's happening in the war is a lack of love and unity. Really, it boils down to that. And the thing is, we can't force people to realize this, and some people will just stay ignorant and arrogant to the truth, even when the truth and the proof is there in their face. And it just boils down to the principalities. Sometimes people are so overtaken by principalities that even when the truth is in their face, they still will be blind to it. And so it's important that we don't fall into judging those people or getting like in a low vibration because of those kind of people. Instead, we focus on the power we do have, that we can alchemize anything and everything from the inside out, regardless of other people's opinions or however other people are being. And if they're still in their sleeper state where they perceive life to be it's one against another, they're still in different degrees of asleep. And so sometimes there's nothing that you can do to force a person to realize or change the ugliness that is not them, but they're acting out in that energy. The person has to choose themselves to wake up out of the ignorance, because nothing and no one can save you the way that you can save you from inside. But you have to choose to wake up out of that ignorance. You have to choose to say no to these indoctrinations and these fear tactics and these manipulation tactics and these war tactics to basically put in people's minds that it's one against the other, when we are not against each other. It is the principalities that make people believe that reality that it looks like that's reality in the physical realm, but when you wake up in the soul, you realize, oh, how much you've been puppeted or played by the principalities. So anyways, it's important that when we see other people falling into separation, we don't succumb to that nonsense, and we don't waste our time getting mad at people like that. Instead, we focus on alchemizing anything and everything from inside, because that's more beneficial than judging another person for their ignorance. Okay, so I wanted to read these things that I have on, like, it's like my Instagram vision board. I call it like a spiritual vision board. It's like, oh yeah, so like go check it out on my Instagram. There are posts that I save from other people's content, so I just want to give them credit, because I'm not the content creator that steals other people's work, unlike others that do that. Like, because I've had somebody continuously doing that to me. Linda Likes Tarot and whatever, they're a group of witches. They emulate and copy my spiritual messages that are tailored to me, but they try to make it out to be like it's their, it's a common message for all of us, so that's why it doesn't even bother me. And I know the spiritual realm picks up on what they're doing, so that's on them. But so I'm not like that, so I give credit where credit is due. And so this is Akashic Chronicles. I am no longer a performer in my own presence. I am the presence. So this is important for us to remember. We are the presence. We are the presence that can alchemize anything and everything from the inside out. When we tune into that presence, our soul presence, with the unity of all that is, with source energy, we are not here to do what has already been done. And that is by, I don't know how to say that name, but pause the video if you want to see. But yeah, we're not here to do what has been done. We are here for the revolution, to do something that's never been done before, to win this revolution in a way that hasn't been done in the past. Before, when it comes to winning a revolution, it's one side against the other. But this revolution is more about bringing both sides back into unity. That's what God is calling us to do. God's source energy. The all-seeing eye, source energy amongst us all, and there's only one Most High. Nothing and no one in this realm can ever do what the Most High can do. Remember that. So this is important that we all tune into our field. You see that field? You see how it's changing? If you can see the Instagram page too, to give them credit. So you need to tune into your vortex field. And remember, if you look deeply and closely enough, you can find meaning in anything and everything. And it's important to find meaning, to find the good in all of the bad. And that's really vital in the times we're living in today. It's not spiritual bypassing. It's spiritual sovereignty, spiritual alchemy. That's what it is. And that's where it's at. So I just want to give this one credit. I don't know how to say that name. It's hard to say. But remember, so the universe does not speak English. It speaks frequency. This is why it's so important to be mindful of our energy now more than ever, to not fall into the tricks of the dark principalities of this realm, the fear tactics, the mongering, fear mongering, warmongering, all of those things. Don't give it your attention or energy. When you are watching your breath, everything will be divine. Instead of focusing outwardly to news and freaking out about the news and world events, focus on your breath and your connection with the divine, and choose to alchemize those feelings that come up when you see the current times that we are living through. And remember that you are light at your core. This post is funny. Just took a DNA test and it turns out I'm a figment of God's imagination. And isn't this so funny? This is so true. We're literally in a 3D holographic matrix simulation, right? So if you really realize, source energy created all of us in God's image. And so this is our core truth, no matter what our race, our background, our ethnicity, whatever it is, wherever you come from in the world, whatever you've been through, whatever your background is, all of our common truth is that we are souls in a human experience. And, there's many people there's a lot of talk about like, oh, people being hybrids, whatever. Besides all of that far out stuff, the core of it is that we're energetic beings from source energy. Some have turned their back on that connection to their divinity, and they only work in the physical realm with dark principalities. But regardless of them being hijacked, that is still where we all come from, source. So remember, God is our shield. When you remember your true origins and who you are and where you come from, you're not afraid of the darkness of this realm, because God will shield you, especially when you tune into your breath and your oneness with God and your communion with God. You are God's child. The devil can't defeat you in this realm. If you are saying no, you have to use your authority, your sovereign authority, to say no to any witches, warlocks, or demonic energies in this realm. And that's the authority you have, being a child of God. So don't forget your authority as a child of God, because that's what the dark principalities, witches, and warlocks want. They want you to not know of your power so that they can siphon your energy and use you as a puppet and as a casualty. But when you know your power in being a child of God, they don't have that access. They don't have that right. It's spiritual law, universal law. So we need to spread this awareness as much as possible, because unfortunately, people don't know this, but not everybody knows this. But fortunately, there's people like me who care about protecting other people's energy system and soul. So you can rise up and empower yourself from inside with this truth. So in my story, God will always get the glory. And I don't know how to say that name, But yeah, God will always get the glory. Remember, I am that I am. You are one with God. You are co-creator with source. You know how people say, I'm God, you're God, we're all God. People are waking up to the realization of their divinity. But it's also really important to not try to play like a deity. Yes, you are capable of magnificent things through God, but you are not God alone. There's only one Godhead, and we come from source, that Godhead. And so it's important to remember to honor source. Don't play like you are source yourself, because without source, none of us would exist, okay? So remember that when your ego gets in the way, confirmation, don't let your ego get in the way and think that you can do this life without connecting to source. Life gets more smoother when, and like you reinvigorate yourself from inside when you remember the importance of connecting to the source that you come from. You are a co-creator with our creator. And so don't try to put yourself in a place of a deity and claim that you are God and try to use that power over other people when you will only hurt yourself based on the spiritual laws that is realer than real. Some atheists that I ran into, they didn't believe in God or spiritual law until they got their karmic backlash, and they realized, oh yeah, there are supernatural forces amongst us higher than the human realm, source energy, that will reprimand humanity at some point or another. This is a given, whether you believe in God or not. So freedom is having nothing to hide, nothing to chase, and nothing to prove. And this is by Slow Life today. But yeah, so tune into that inner freedom. No matter what's happening in the world, we have soul freedom, that we're in the midst of breaking out of, spiritual enslavement in this planet. And when the more of us tune into this freedom of having nothing to hide, nothing to prove, and nothing to chase, and tuning into the bliss of you and your power and being able to transform this realm. And remember, the wisdom, the spiral wisdom is within you. The brain doesn't just think, it assimilates. Neural signals, nutrients, aromatic rings, and biophotons weave together the colorful frequency of consciousness. So remember, our brain does all these magnificent things. And when we tune into our connection to the Most High with our brain that has neural signals, nutrients, aromatic rings, and biophotons weaving together the colorful frequency that we get to see from the inside out. The colorful frequency that we get to see in this realm is coming from here. So that's why it's so important to connect to source through your crown chakra. We didn't come to play the game. We came to change it. We're not here to play games with the dark principalities. We're not here to doubt our power. We're here to change anything and everything that is out of alignment of integrity. Because remember, we are code carriers. I personally know for a fact I am a code carrier for the golden age. All of us are in many different ways and degrees. And so please never compare yourself to anybody. Do not try to be anyone else. Be happy with the image that God made you in. God made you perfectly designed to have your own codes. Don't try to go around stealing other people's content or codes, because then you are not appreciating what God has given you, your own codes to assist other people. So because I've had a witch for 4 years try to constantly steal my content and try to be me, and she can never be me. No one can ever be me the way I can be me. No one can ever be you the way you could be you. So don't rob yourself of your authenticity. Don't try to copy people or emulate people, because you're only robbing yourself. So energy isn't just a feeling, it's an unseen perception. It's a first language. Remember, because we are energy beings at the core of us, it's with you in every moment. It's the container of your life. So our light body, and the person whose post that is, I don't know how to say that name, but the Dean Naminichi, I think I said that right. But anyways, point being is that, remember, that's the power we have as energy beings. And remembering that in every moment, the container that we're in, we can use this energy system to alchemize anything and everything in this realm. So be careful. Oh, this is like this doesn't go with what I'm saying. So solar codes are activating the Merkaba. So tune into the sun and do meditations under the sun, prayers under the sun, because these codes that are coming in from the sun, and also codes from the earth, and codes from anything and everything in this realm and the quantum field, it's helping us activate from inside our Merkaba and our whole chakra system. Light body interference, planetary grid, sync, and cosmic broadcasting harmonics. So listen, we have this energy field, right? This Taurus field in our energy body. And so we emit a frequency. We are broadcasting a signal. That's why it's so important to be mindful of what you allow yourself to entertain within your thoughts and your feelings, because that signal sends codes into the field, and the field is also, you're also getting codes from the sun. And so it's an exchange. It's a constant back and forth. So we need to keep that in mind. The biology is the feedback mechanism for the universe to learn about itself. So that's the thing, is the more that all of us tune in to our spiritual journey and remember that we are interconnected with the whole solar system and the sun, source energy, coursing through all that is as above, so below, so within, so without. You remember that you are not ever helpless or hopeless. And it's important that you remember your divinity in the times we're living in today, and your interconnection to everything to be able to alchemize anything and everything. And it's important that you reboot your energy system through raw foods so that we're able to rise up to a higher frequency based on our light body. And so because it's important. Remember, so within, so without. So what we're feeding our vessels is important. We're right now experiencing a quantum revolution, and our ancestors are involved in this in every step of the way. We are the ancestors are us. When we free ourselves, we free them. When we free them, we free ourselves. And we're all in this together. There is no one side against another. Of course, there's a lot of sleepers still, but regardless of many being in a sleeper state, we are not against each other. We are here for this revolution to change history, literally. So the way we change history is through each one of our energy fields and being able to change this realm on a quantum level, because we are quantum souls in a 3D holographic matrix simulation. And so we have more power than they ever taught us. Surrender to change or suffer in a loop. We need to not suffer in a loop because that's unnecessary. We need to choose to surrender to the change that's happening and hold ourselves accountable so that we don't fall into the victimization loop. Because with accountability, then we create this beautiful, healthy cycle. The victimization is the lower spiral down cycle pattern that is meant to be broken within each and every one of us. So instead of ignoring, denying, blaming, rationalizing, resisting, and hiding, we recognize, we own up to our mistakes. We forgive ourselves and each other. We self-examine ourselves and each other. We learn more about ourselves and each other, because that's what this is all about after all. The universe is learning more about itself to improve itself. And so then we take action. We take action on what's right, and we rise up to our better versions of ourselves amongst each other, because we are the glitch in the system that the system is afraid of. And so we should not be falling, afraid of them when you realize what's really happening. And we have all the numbers and everybody's quantum field together. That's how we make an impact in this realm, in the 3D holographic matrix simulation, third density, physical realm. So remember that the spiral is your intuition. The spiral is the intuition, and then we need to break out of the loop of ego. Your ego wants you to stay in a loop, repeating the same cycle over and over again. This is what feels comfortable and safe to the egoic mind. This is all that it knows, and that's why it's kind of hard for people to change, because they don't know how to reprogram and push the ego to the side for them to rise up. So your intuition calls you to make gradual changes in your life that leads towards ongoing evolution, development, and transcendence. Pure consciousness can see past the repeating cycles of the mind and urges you to move beyond what you think you know, because we are in changing times. So this is Inner Goddess Awakening. If you want to go check her out on Instagram. So everything works out in my favor. When you tune in to that heart space and you choose to proclaim, decree, and declare this statement on a daily basis, it changes your energy field. Everything works out in my favor, no matter what circumstance, no matter how bad the circumstance is. You have the ability to shift that circumstance to something, to improve it from your heart space. When you claim this as your reality, everything works in my favor. And so I don't know how to say that one, but that's by her. If you would just want to go see these posts on my Instagram, you go see, because I don't steal people's content. I'm just inspired by these quotes, and I save them all because to relay to like a deeper message. And so no act of kindness is a waste. Remember that in the times we're living in today. I'm not going to keep saying the names, because you can just go check these posts out on my Instagram. So because it's important for me to give credit where credit is due. So remember, when people are being, less than nice, just remember to still, of course, have boundaries. Don't compromise yourself. But kindness is really important in the times we're living in today. Either it flows or it goes. If it doesn't flow, then it has to go. So remember, when we tune into gratitude and our brain and our heart coherence, the mind and the heart together coherence, alignment, and we tune into gratitude for the things that we do have, the heart has its own neural network. Living from your heart is healing for you. Your heart chakra is the most significant energy center in the body, as it is the bridge between the lower and the higher chakras. The energy of love is the highest vibration you can attain. So this is really important. If you're experiencing something painful in life, just come back to the frequency of love as much as possible. You are light in human form. Don't let the shadow of your past dim your sparkle in the present day. Because there's all too often there's so many things that can dim our light in the times we're living in today, but don't let that be you. Don't let that happen to you, because it is within your power to constantly renew yourself from inside by connecting to source and remembering your core truth. You are light in human form, and you have an energy system that is meant to change this realm, and there's no such thing as an accident. You are here for a divine specific reason, and that's going to vary from person to person, but God wants to work through you. Source energy wants to do magnificent things through each and every one of us to create these changes in our own inner world, in our own lives, in our family units, and in the world, outside world. And remember, so our connection to Adam and Eve, remember Adam and Eve ate the apple. It's a metaphor, it's symbolic. So the flower of life is in our auric field and in the foods that we eat. Those things, everything's interconnected, as we know. If you haven't seen my Instagram page, it's in the description below. Go check it out if you haven't seen it already. It's very helpful to what I'm saying now. If every day is an awakening, you will never grow old. You will just be growing. And so that's why it's important to not succumb to this realm, because when you succumb to this realm, you fall too much into to sleep, you're only living from the physical realm. But when we choose to be awakening on a day-to-day basis, we don't grow old just in this physical realm anymore. We keep growing, we keep ascending. So we don't grow old, we keep evolving. So for me, I feel like my age or the aging process has like slowed down and like stopped or slowed down, but I'm getting wiser without aging faster. That's what happens when your frequency changes. And so this thing is called quadrinity psychology. It is by the love of Trinity that one arises as the quadrinity. So it has a picture of the Matrix and the actress in the Matrix. And so remember, we're in a matrix, and the way we free ourselves from inside is choosing the Holy Trinity of love. And we unlock ourselves from inside from any pain, bitterness, or those low vibrational attachments that happen on the human journey when we experience trauma and pain. Let those things go. They are not you. You are pure energy at your core. You are pure love and light at your core. And so be somebody who makes everybody feel like somebody, because in the times that we're living in today, the people try to pin each other against each other, like the less fortunate and the fortunate, or the chosen and the not chosen. We're not doing that anymore. We're so much smarter than that. So please be kind and be somebody who makes everybody feel like somebody, regardless of their different opinions, regardless of, opposing sides. We are all very precious to the evolution of this humanity. And so you see, the polar opposites are meant to be unity. And so remember, this is how we ascend and activate our 12th strand DNA, is the tree of life within us. And it helps us rise up in consciousness, rise up in dimensions, rise up in energy. Because we remember that we're not here to do what has been done before. We're not here to go back and forth on the pendulum. We are here to maintain and sustain the God frequency within each and every one of us. Soul balance, soul sovereignty, to unlock our divinity, higher levels of our divinity, to closer to source, to be able to be closer to source, the all-seeing eye, God's source energy, Godhead, Alpha and Omega, invisible intelligence of all that is. So not all love is loud. Some of it grows underground, quiet, sacred, and unseen. We are like mushrooms connected beneath the surface by something ancient, intelligent, and true. Even when we feel far apart, the mycelium of love holds together, whispering, "You're never alone." Oh my God, that is so beautiful. This one's called Mushmore Mental Health. But look, remember, I'm not promoting mushrooms, okay? I'm just saying the post is beautiful. It's like everything is interconnected. So we need to remember that underneath this flesh, we are all, every single one of us, all still connected. So surrender to change or continue to suffer in a loop. Change your outlook. Wake yourself up from inside, because the old suffering is because of this disconnection of our unity. When we wake up back to the oneness of God, it's less likely that we suffer. And so remember, you're either on a return of spirit to the center of unity, or you're spiraling progress of the mundane spirit. So you're either going down and you're descending away from source energy, or you're choosing to return to the center of unity. That's a choice. You have to choose to return to unity. And nobody's going to make each other do it. You have to use your soul sovereignty, your soul power as a child of God to choose that. So if you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. So you see how this is just like, I feel like a metaphor of the physical realm. You only see the physical realm, but when you wake up on your Merkaba and on a spiritual level, you start to see all the dimensional planes of existence and what this life really is about. Everything I see is an echo I sent to myself from long ago. This post is like blew my mind, because it was super symbolic when I was thinking about something specific, and then I ran into this post, and it was like a response to my question of like, okay, wait, remember, we've been here before. What happened is like, now, instead of going into source, we ended up getting recycled back into the matrix because they hijacked this realm. And so they've been fighting for the stargates and landlines and war on earth and preventing spiritual ascension because of this disconnection and war. But we have to remember that we came from then and we're here now, and everything we see is an echo sent to ourselves from long ago, so that we don't repeat the same mistakes. It's happening again, and we're here to make sure that toxic pattern, that wave patterns, are not repeated, because we already know the result of that, and we refuse to fall into the same mistake. So you are being presented with two choices: evolve or repeat. Okay, there's no other way around it. So be grateful in your heart, because our heart is a magnet. And remember, be grateful because we came here for this change. This is exactly what we came for. Remember, everything we see today is an echo that we sent to ourselves from long ago. We sent ourselves this message so we wouldn't repeat the mistakes. So when we tune into a grateful heart and remember, like, oh my God, source is this intelligent that this interconnection, this quantum field that we live in, quantum entanglement, multiverse, quantum physics, quantum mechanics, quantum everything, right? this is how this is actually true. Everything we see is an echo we sent to ourselves from long ago. So when we remember that, we have a grateful heart at the chance to be here to change the course of history. We're here to change the course of history. So we have to declare these things so this post says, declarations that don't back down. When the enemy doesn't flee, you don't fold. You stand and you speak and you declare until the atmosphere submits to you. This is the power we have as children of God, as light beings, as energy beings, our authority over the atmosphere. And say this with me. I take authority over this home in Jesus' name. In every room, every doorway, every spirit in hiding will be exposed and evicted. This house is not up for grabs. It belongs to God's source energy, and I govern it in his name. Luke 10:19. This is important that we all know how to declare these things to force demonic spirits, disembodied spirits out of our dwelling, out of our children, out of our family. This is the power we have to demand demons and demonic spirits, disembodied spirits, parasitic energies, entities to flee. And they're not allowed to live out in you, your family, or bother you or mess with you in your household or your domain or your dwelling, But we have to remember that we have to use our voice and our authority to demand them away and out of your life. So I release peace that crushes chaos. I declare the blood of Jesus over doors and windows and beds and the minds in this home. No demon can cross what is sealed by covenant with God, source, and one and only Godhead, the Most High. There is no other. No matter what deities or whatever people try to say they're God, no, nobody could ever be God the way God is, the Most High. No human on this planet is the Most High. So you have to have these declarations or figure out your forms of, there's many different ways, but I really encourage people to tune into their prayer life and know how to declare these things so that it can be your energetic protection. Okay, this is important. So be someone's reason to smile. Don't get addicted to being human. This is only temporary. So, when you have victory over dark things in your life, it is a win. No matter how small, medium, or large. When you have victory over demonic spirits, put a smile on your face and remember, victory is ours, no matter how many battles we have to go through and overcome. We came for this. Don't get addicted to this human realm because this is only temporary. We came here to make change. We're not always going to be here. Our soul is eternal. Our humanness is not. So that's why we create change through our soul, not only through our physical body. So don't get addicted to being in this human experience. It's temporary, but our soul it lives eternal. So that's why we need to nurture our soul more than anything, because this is what houses our soul. And then so our soul creates change through this container that we're in. This container is only temporary. And so that's why it's important for us to rise up on an internal level, to redeem ourselves on a soul level. When you remember that what you are here for is to love deeper than you believe is possible, and savor every single moment of this incarnation. Savor it, no matter what is going on in your life or in the world. Savor this life experience as much as possible and tune into love time and time again, no matter what is unfolding in the world, because this love frequency is what heals the world. It heals your inner world. It heals other people's worlds, and it heals the world at large. Our energy system is connected to the quantum field at all times. So there are people waiting on your gift, your anointing, your perspective, your voice, your story, your ideas, and you. So rise up to the occasion, whatever it may be that you are going through. You are not hopeless, you are not helpless, and you are not alone. None of us will ever be alone. And that's so beautiful when you always reinvigorate yourself to that truth. We are not alone. We have help from the Most High. We have help from the interconnection of all that is. We have the ability to shift anything and everything in this realm through our power, the way that we perceive life, from the inside out, the way we choose to perceive life. Look, I have it up in the background, and then in this post, I love it. So like self and physical world, how you perceive life is what life will be for you. And remember, you are the temple, body temple. Remember, you are the gateway. You are the portal to higher realms. You can experience heaven on earth here. While we're here, you don't have to die to experience heaven. God is calling you to wake up to the truth and rise up in your temple. Rise that energy up. Wake it up. The spine is a highway of intelligence to the mind. That is one of my lyrics that I wrote in one of my flows. Why? Because it's true. It is a highway up to your connection to source. So remember to respect your body and nourish your body, because this is the temple that God has gifted us to experience this life. So remember, we are here to witness God's glory working through each and every one of us. And this is magnificent. Everything created here is God's design. It's one of my favorite songs. It's called God's Design. You should check it out. And so when we remember that, we're literally here to experience God's glory from inside of ourselves and the outside world. Everything is God experiencing itself. And so there's so many things to be grateful and thankful for when you wake up to these levels of reality. So remember, source, we are a drop of source, but we come from source, and we're returning. We're in the golden age. I am a code carrier for the golden age, not for nothing, guys, because throughout my journey, I've gone through a lot, okay, and a lot of unfair things, but throughout it all, I have awakened, and it's been like training and, different stages and phases of the reawakening process. And God has been training me through this whole journey, I realized everything was a part of the plan. Everything that was unfair, all of it, all the darkness, all the dark nights of the soul, apparently it was literally all a part of the plan. And it's so beautiful to finally come to this place of realization, so that I can assist many others to come tune into this frequency, because it is all of our common truth on a soul level. We all come from source, regardless if you believe in God or not. This is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. This is the creme de la creme that will save your life. This is soul food. This is soul truth. Whether you agree with it or not doesn't matter to me. I'm just speaking on what God tells me to speak on. So look, you are a drop of the divinity, and so therefore it's up to us to rise back up to the divinity that we come from. And so this is the monad of union of opposites. The symbol on this, it shows like, you know, I'll just show it. Like, so this is the unity of opposites. So basically what we're here to do is unify opposing energies. So remember, tune into your richness that doesn't come from money. Family and loved ones are inner riches that money can't buy. So God's unfailing love is something that money can't buy. A cup that overflows is something that money can buy. And I'm talking about your inner world. You know, when you're connected to source, your cup will runneth over, no matter what life circumstance it may be. Your citizenship in heaven is not something money can buy. You have to tune into that in your heart and soul, your mind, body, and soul, alignment with source. Peace in your heart is not something money can buy. Hope for eternity is not something money can buy. Strength in trials that all comes from within. A home in rest, all of these things come from within. So focus on the good, focus on all of that abundance inside. Like I said, these things money can't buy. So abundance in all forms, but we manifest abundance in this realm through the abundance that comes from inside first. So remember, tune into your loved ones, your family, and your cup running over, your citizenship in heaven, peace in your heart, hope for eternity, strength in trials, the word of God, your connection to source, God's unfailing love. Focus on the good no matter what. Be happy for others. There's room for all of us. So when you see others people, it seems like they have it easy and you get maybe envious, don't let yourself fall into that. That is not you. And remember, be happy for others, because there is enough for all of us. No matter how much the government tries to push out this narrative of scarcity, that is just a false narrative. Because when we remember where we come from source, and we don't fall into that frequency, then we can manifest more in this realm when we are in the frequency of God's unfailing love. So remember, weapons of warfare, spirit-filled tools to defeat darkness is your armor, your sword, your shield, your prayer, your righteousness, your helmet, your victory, you claiming victory, fasting and resisting, being obedient to your higher self. Those things are helpful to you winning the inner battles. So be grateful for the little things that bring you joy during the times we're living in today. It's really important, because when you tune into a grateful heart, you can manifest more from that energy. And remember, open the portal of unconditional love for yourself and others. The choice is ours to be only in the physical realm and be only thinking about, you know, material things, when in reality we are meant to rise up out of the material realm. We have exited the material realm and we are now in frequency. Now, what I mean by that is like that we know that there's more than to the eye. There's more than what the eyes see, right? And so the choice really is ours to rise up no matter what, time and time again, no matter what. And so you can be the reason someone smiles today. So let that into your heart. You could be the reason you yourself smiles. Put a smile on your face in little ways. Cheer yourself up. If you're going through something in life, you're not alone. And remember, you have the power to cheer yourself up from day to day, every single day of your life. Cheer yourself up in order to be able to be the person, to be the reason someone else smiles, because you are taking care of your own inner happiness first. So this is symbolic. If there's something bad going on in your energy field or in the world, choose to step away and choose to be in the frequency of love. Don't choose to fall into the frequency of chaos where things are burning down and apart. Choose to instead alchemize your energy and choose love and alchemizing anything and everything. Your body was built for the wild, but you live in a concrete jungle. You have to remember to constantly connect to Mother Earth, Gaia, because remember, the earth is experiencing an ascension just as we are. And so it's vital for people to connect to the grid. Get your feet out on the ground, on the electromagnetic grid that we live on, because we are electrical beings and you need to charge up your energy through having contact with nature. The uncreated universe is light undivided. The created universe is light divided into mated pairs. So remember, this is really symbolic. So the created universe, when God created it, the light divided into mated pairs. But before it was divided, the uncreated universe is light undivided. And that's ultimately what we're headed towards. Undivided light. Love is literally the point of why we're all here. Love is the point. So, you know, no matter how hurt you've ever been, please do the healing that you need to do in order to bring yourself back to the truth of who you are. And if you need help healing, look at my other videos, because I talk a lot about this subject to help people go within and heal yourself from within so that you can be spiritually free and you can feel the immense amounts of love that you are. You are pure love at your core. And you need to get rid of the barriers that have happened throughout life in order to tap back into the truth of who we all are. It's light and love. So let the answer always be love. If there's something that you are hurt by, choose, even if it's difficult to choose to love yourself back into the love frequency and choose to love others back into the love frequency. Is the Holy Spirit truly producing fruit in your life? Love example, selfless care, compassion. A joy example is inner gladness. When you're giving yourself care, your selfless care to yourself and others, when you're inner gladness for yourself and for others, when you have peace, you have a calm spirit, and when you have patience and endurance, when you have moral actions, when you have strong beliefs, when you have humble strengths, and when you have self-contentment, when you temper your anger. Remember, this life is all about frequency. So managing your emotions, having emotional intelligence is vital during the times we're living in today. A person needs both emotional intelligence and rational intelligence to have a healthy relationship. The EQ, emotional intelligence, is the ability to attune to and control one's own emotions and relate to other people's emotions states. RQ, which is rational intelligence, is the ability to be adaptable, interrelate, I'm not saying that word right, I can tell, collaboratively, and remain connected. So you can communicate and still remain connected even if there's opposing sides. This is what we need to rise up in. We're so very intelligent. And so you need to remember the power of your hands when you clap and you use your palms. Your palms are chakras. So this is how we can send distance healing to other people. You can send distance healing to people on the screen. You can send distance healing to people at the war. And when you use your hands in prayer and you clap in prayer and you rejoice and celebrate and praise God. And remember, your presence is a gift to the world. So be present as much as possible throughout your day to day. Be present with the knowing that you are one with Source. When you look out of your eyeballs and you remember that looking out of your eyeballs, you are experiencing, Source is experiencing itself through you on this planet, in this realm. This circle represents your eyeball. Look, unity, the ethers coming together, the negative and positive charge coming together and seeking unity. This is literally what we are here for, because our souls on an energetic level, whether people are asleep or not, this is ultimately the soul goal for the whole entire globe. Okay, so when you look out of your pupil and you remember the magicalness of what this life is all about and the power you have to shift this realm and shift yourself into a higher frequency. We are meant to rise up as a humanity through each and every one of us. We are meant to rise up through intentional living. Be intentional with the way that you choose to think and feel about yourself and other people and situations. Be mindful of how you choose to think and feel. Create meaning with everything you do. Shift your energy to things that matter. Tune into your surroundings. Appreciate the small things. Slow down and be present. Live. Spend more time doing things that make your soul sparkle. No matter what's happening in the world, the chaos and stuff. Don't be consumed by the outside world. Tune into being you, being oneness in your connection to the divinity. You have to change if you want things to change. So change your inner world, change your energy on a day-to-day basis to a better energy, to a preferred energy. Flowing is not forcing. So you got to go with the flow in all these changes that are happening. And life is a creative act. We are here as co-creators. So if you don't like the energy that you're in, or if you don't like your circumstances, change your energy. This life is a creative act for all of us to come together around the world and realize the power we all have in shifting this realm for the better. External abundance cannot fill your internal scarcity. Remember that when you're too consumed in the physical realm is temporary. Your external abundance in this physical realm cannot fulfill your internal scarcity. You need to fulfill yourself from the inside on a soul level, because you are a soul in a human experience. So in this experience, we are susceptible to falling apart because there's things that need to be changed. So falling apart gave me the opportunity to rebuild myself. And remember, if things are falling apart, the universe, Source energy, is trying to show you where you need to change, where you can rebuild yourself. You should be rebuilding yourself. But in order for you to rebuild yourself, you have to make changes from the inside out. So let the light in, even when it feels too bright, even when it feels like it hurts and you're broken. You are the light you're looking for. You are the savior you're looking for. You are the hero you're looking for. You are the love of your life that you are looking for. And let the light in. Let it in. And also wake up your own light from inside. So remember, the sun is giving us light codes every single day. Even when it feels too bright, let that light in, and let your soul brightness shine in a world that seems dark. But we are here to light this world up and bring it back to the God frequency through each and every one of us. So remember, don't let things drain your energy. Negative self-talk, lack of boundaries, late night scrolling, dishonesty and comparison and jealousy drain your energy. Don't let that be you, because we're smarter than that. And choose things that are energy givers, which is breath work, organic foods, meditation, daily movement, mindful thoughts, and positive conversations. Those are energy givers. So the seeker's trap, there comes a point where Wisdom must be walked, not worshipped. So all this stuff that I'm sharing, if it's helpful to you, don't just listen to it, but embody it. This is really important. We need to actually walk the path of that frequency. So the world changed. The entire world will change when people realize how they truly are experiencing a personal reality that reflects their deepest subconscious perceptions of themselves and their lives. People will take back their power as creators, causing all victimhood to fall away, which means all manipulation, false projections, and blame of self or others will simultaneously cease to exist. This awakens us to remember how we get to be unique creators here, while simultaneously remembering that others do too. This is at the core of what makes us so special here, and it's been forgotten for so long, how we are here to literally transform ourselves to the greatest versions we ever thought possible. That's the power we all have. So start making space for speaking openly and honestly. Start making space for courage. Start making space for more confidence. Start making space for celebrating your journey while you are here. Make space inside of you to own your entire story. Make space inside of you for growth. Make space for self-acceptance and self-hugs. Hug yourself for the love of God, and remind your inner child that you are here for your inner child through it all. Your inner child is never alone. Love your inner child back to the healed inner child that is meant to be, so that you can be that healed adult that you deserve to be. Make space for self-discovery throughout everything that's happening in your life and in the world. And remember that moving our energy system and our body is incredibly healing. So we have to constantly be moving our energy. Move that energy around so it's not stuck and trapped in you. Focus on improving, not proving. So spiritual awakening is not proving that you're spiritual or proving that you're to anyone or anything. Focus on improving yourself without proving anything to anyone. It's all about you. And you don't need to prove your growth to anyone but yourself. And so remember, you are brave, you are loved, you are enough, you are capable, you are worthy, and you are strong. If you don't feel like you are, tune back into the truth of who you are on the soul level. We cannot shame ourselves into change. We can only love ourselves into evolution. So please don't look down on the past mistakes that you've made. Just choose to be a better person and choose to evolve yourself and choose to love yourself throughout your personal evolution. There's so much power in believing that everything will work out. We have to remember that no matter how bad the world tries to make us believe that things are getting worse, it's not. It's actually improving. I refuse to fall into the illusions of this realm, and I choose to focus on the power that I do have in perceiving the world to be a better place. Even with the things that are going on, I choose to look at those situations and I don't succumb to that reality. Instead, I alchemize it, and I choose to continue to believe and know that there will be better days for us all. And there's so much power in believing that everything will work out in one way or another with the divine. Trust the process, God's process. It's all a part of God's plan, and we're here to cultivate this change within ourselves and amongst each other. Good things take time. Remember that. So remember, you are, I am, then we are, I am, you are, we are, the whole truth and nothing but the truth. The world is unity. That's what it's meant for all of us. So I am with us. This is so symbolic. See this, imagine this one person being each individual in the world. This is the power each individual in the world has to work with their ancestors to create this change. Every single one of us is just as special as another. We are also very precious and necessary in the evolution that's unfolding in the world today. Because remember, it is an evolution in your own inner world, and therefore it creates changes, a part of the evolution in the outer world. So the new earth is not built with hands, but with frequency. It is not governed by rules, but by resonance. It arises when the soul remembers its place in the grand cosmic symphony, when hearts beat in harmony with truth and minds no longer cling to fear. This is not a future to wait for. It is a state of being to return to within you, in your mind, body, and soul, in your whole energy system. It begins within you, in the stillness between thoughts, in the breath that remembers itself. In the presence, be still and know that I am God. Needing nothing attracts everything. God will provide, and God will bring about solutions for any circumstance it may be when we tune into our heart space and our truth and our connection and our unity to source energy. Be the energy you want to attract. There is no other way around it. If you want to manifest better circumstances out of a bad circumstance, you need to be the energy that you want to attract. So if you have a bad circumstance or a situation, whatever it may be, in order for you to get solutions for that circumstance, you need to shift your energy to the solution vibration in order for you to attract those solutions. Remember, we are out of the material and into the frequency. The way we create this change in the world is through frequency. Please never forget that. And if you forget, just constantly remind yourself, tune back into your heart space, and remind each other. We all need these reminders in the times we're living in today, constantly, because we may know it, and then sometimes things happen in the physical realm, and then we forget, and then we give our power away to the circumstance when we need to remember to not give our power away to this realm. If something is happening in this realm, it's something in our power to shift, because we are pure energy at our core. So anything in this realm, we can literally alchemize from the inside out. So please remember that. I'm here to remind us all. God speaks through me and talks to me. So please tune into your connection to God's source energy, because God will speak to you and guide you and counsel you too. This is a part of the core part of the change in this world is everyone connecting to God's source energy and creating that change from that place inside your heart. Your connection to God's source energy. Nothing in this realm can give you the power that comes from inside you and your connection to source. So remember that when you feel helpless or if you feel like, ignoring your if you accidentally fall into this, ignoring this part of life, you will fall into suffering because you will only see from your 3D eyes. But when you wake up and you see from your soul eye and your soul presence and your soul awareness, it's less likely that you fall into fear or, these low vibrations. And if you do have a circumstance that is, a low vibrational circumstance, that is an opportunity to prove to yourself how strong you really are, to persevere through it no matter what, and actually turn that circumstance into a stepping stone for you to rise up. Time and time again, it is a choice, so you have to choose it. Choose to say no to the lower vibrational version of yourself and choose to say yes to the higher vibrational version of yourself, and do the inner work to maintain yourself in the frequency of your higher self, no matter the circumstance and whatever unfolds in the world events that are happening during the times we're living in today. So I feel like I got everything out. I didn't mean to talk this long on this video, but I had to keep going because God, it just flowed. It flowed smoothly. So if you want to know the content creators behind those posts, they were really inspirational, and I don't steal anybody's content. Go to my Instagram page to go to my spiritual vision board called Oh Yeah, and check out those posts yourself if you want. And tune into that truth, because as we see on social media, there's so many people, with these eye-opening perspectives and outlooks and angles and how to look at it and their content, but it's all coming to a common truth for all of us to come back into unity and to empower ourselves from inside, and how we're never alone, and the importance of tuning into gratitude and love and kindness and non-judgment and unity. And make sure you have boundaries, protect your energy field, make sure you cleanse and protect your energy field on a daily, because it is extremely vital that people do this for themselves, because there's a lot of sorcery and witchery that people try to do to take your energy and try to derail you as a light worker that you are, or a light being, an energy being. They know your power. Sometimes people will know your power more than you realize your own power. So please wake up to your own power, so that people don't try to use your power against you, or people don't try to suppress your power because you're unaware of your power. Please rise up and wake up to the true power you have to be able to transform anything and everything from the inside out. The power you have to cleanse and protect your energy field on a daily. The power you have in your soul sovereignty, in your soul connections to source energy. Never underestimate your power as a child of God. Never underestimate your power to shift the atmosphere for better. Never underestimate your power to shift this realm for the better. And I will leave this one here. God bless you all. Remember to pray for your loved ones. Well, your goals, your possessions, your pets, your loved ones, friends, and humanity, and the planet at large. Because as we know, our words have power, our prayers have power. They go out into the quantum field, and it shifts this realm for the better. So the more of us we have calling on source energy for justice in this realm, the more changes we will see, the more rapid changes we will see in this realm. Because remember, we have to win the war in the energy and bring it back to unity. We have to win the war in principalities in order for us to win here in the physical realm. For all of us to be back into the love, unity frequency. Of course, it takes time. Just embrace the process as much as possible. Be present with your life. Be grateful for what you do have. Be thankful for what you do have. And be grateful for all the good things to come.